A few days ago, a mom contacted me for advice. Our 5-year-old son with Down syndrome doesn't know how to read, is not willing to learn anything, runs away if you even try to read aloud to him, and spends his life on his iPad. So please forgive me if I climb up on my soapbox and wave one of my favorite flags. Device time is not an entitlement for any child. Device time is not an entitlement for any child. It is a privilege. It's a privilege to be earned by cooperation. No cooperation, no privilege. Life is not a free ride. Adulthood will be a rude awakening for our children with Down syndrome if we don't help them to understand how life works. If we want something, we have to give something in return. If we want a salary, we have to put in the work. Then there's the equally serious issue concerning unlimited device time and the addiction that it brings. Previously, I've posted a number of videos on the effect of screen time on the brains of children. And one study in particular that was most alarming was that the brain study showed that the effect on the child's brain was very similar to crack cocaine. I'm talking crack. The brain waves actually change, and not for the better, but in a way that inhibits learning. In addition, neurology comes into play here. The child becomes addicted because of the rapid-fire dopamine hits he gets from the brain candy that the device delivers nonstop. It's not his fault that he's addicted. In fact, the geniuses behind the development of the software for YouTube, Facebook, the apps, video games are specifically designed and trained to make sure that they develop software that hooks the viewer for as long a time as possible. And their motivation is to make money. Our motivation is to give our children the gift of literacy. If a child knows how to read, in a very real sense, the world is open to him. If a child doesn't know how to read, in many ways, the world is closed to him and he feels more helpless. So, if mom wants to teach Junior how to read because it's essential for his life, and Junior is married to his iPad, guess what's got to change? I realize that you won't be able to change your child's entitlement mindset overnight, but I recommend this. First, get a kids timer. There are lots on Amazon, and I'll show you a slide at the very end of one that works really well. Second, set the timer for 5 minutes and tell your child that if he sits for those 5 minutes and attends to his reading lesson, he will get 20 minutes of iPad time or device time. If he doesn't attend for 5 minutes, all bets are off. He gets 0 time on his iPad. Never mind if he throws a fit, has a tantrum, acts out, whatever. That is normal, and you should expect that. Be prepared for that. If you stick to your guns, eventually he'll realize that he has no options. You have to outlast him. When my son with Down syndrome was 5 years old, I began to train both him and his little 3-year-old sister to do simple household chores in order to earn video time. This was, of course, in prehistoric times before fire had even been discovered. So I made little coupons, laminated coupons, so they could be used over and over. And after each time they finished a chore, I would hand them a coupon for 20 minutes video time, 30 minutes video time, whatever. It's tangible. Our kids need visual help, visual tips, right? So they could either get their video then, or they could save up their coupons and watch a whole bunch of video at one time. Over the years, as I've taught learners with Down syndrome and interacted with their families, I've seen a troublesome pattern. Too often, the child with Down syndrome runs the family. At best, this is unhealthy, and at worst, it can be disastrous. So if you find yourself in that situation and you're fighting that battle, starting with device entitlement and working through that issue is a very powerful way to start. If you are struggling with ongoing issues around non-compliance, I encourage you to read 2 specific chapters in my book, Down Syndrome Parenting 101, published by Woodbine House. The 2 chapters deal with non-compliance. One chapter is titled Born to Rule, and the second chapter is entitled The Non-Compliance Face-Off. In that book, I give many techniques and tips for dealing with that problem. Lots of tips. How do I know so many? Well, my son with Down syndrome, severe ADHD, and oppositional defiant disorder trained me well. So if there's a certification available in dealing with noncompliance, he certainly qualified me. So on the few slides following, I'll show you a picture of that kids timer I was talking about. I'll also show you a picture of my book, Down Syndrome Parenting 101, and then how to find my website. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.